analysis, news review. We do in-depth conversations and dialogue. There's a side to us that is fun, that is light, that is lovely, and you'd see that side of us via TikTok. So do well to follow us on TikTok, where we have fun, and you can even familiarize yourself with the other, maybe the alter egos of some of your favorite presenters here on mainland. Sage Babalola, and I'll be bringing Fouad on board so that we can begin analysis of these stories. Don't forget, like I said, we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, so please join the live stream. It's Open Mic Thursday today, so there's hardly any restrictions to the conversations we can have. You can use the live chat option, and you can begin to communicate with us via that platform. I'm going to go on a very, very, very short break. I'm back. I did say it was going to be a short break. Whilst we're bringing Fouad back on air, I would like to take this opportunity to wish a very happy birthday to one of our, you think, because of, how he looks, that he's mean, and I'm joking. He's very sweet. He looks very sweet, and he's really at 6:30 on a normal day, aside from day where we have special programs, but 6:30 he's here, telling you, giving you sports update hand in it. And so we appreciate him, and we're happy that we have him as a member. We love and appreciate him. He's wonderful. He is an amazing person. He's really sweet, to be honest. Want to have. So happy birthday, Nonso. We appreciate happy birthday, Nonso Dogu. We're very happy, and we hope that there's some with Mojisola talks on the scoop. Today's are passing out our core members, but it's okay. My time too, we went from 18,000 to 33,000. Have you more often at the office. It's a great feat. It's another phase of life. Morning, so we can start conversations. Fuad, how are you doing today? Good morning. Yes, but the trumpet is not sounding because now I have any money.
Why now? Do you think it's by money?
It does not have.
It's not by mouth,
and it not have feet that is to be.
I've seen a few people in my life who are actually flawless when it comes to behavior, character, and extremely amiable. It's just one guy who it's extremely difficult to pick up the fight with him. Really.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, to be honest, if you see Nonso arguing with someone,
it's very peaceful with everybody, very friendly, always willing to help. Rare human being.
Sure.
And then to the passing out there. But it's a good one. It's a good one at least. I've been told that they might get backlog. So it was said that for those who didn't get it, who are just getting it, even if they've passed out, they might still get the backlog. But again, congratulations to her, 1 year service. Wish her all the best, ahead of service here.
All right. Well, also, we're going to see the end of the fasting. I think it's tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day, yes?
This weekend. It could be Saturday, it could be Sunday.
Oh, me this morning, please. Don't talk to me about holiday.
For those that will be going on holiday, this night could be 10,
Okay.
The fasting period will go either way. So, but Monday and Tuesday.
Yes. Well, it's okay as long as you're home having a great time. We'll be.
But this one are the small festival.
We don't used to, and we wait for the big one too. There's nothing. We are one big family in this place. So on a lighter note, so we could have conversations about other things before we start digging deep into the reports that we have this morning. And coalition talks gather steam. The rider electoral body says no application. As momentum builds ahead of the 2027 election, the Independent Democratic Party stated that the number of applications received by INEC reflected a lack of unity among opposition leaders, while the New Nigeria People Party called it a testament to the incompetence of the ruling All Progressives Congress. The Labour Party, however, have welcomed the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was behind the move, asserting that he wouldn't come the 2027 election, the forthcoming election. INEC has affirmed that it has accusations that INEC was refusing to register whatsoever. Of course, you have to scrutinize the party, see their electoral credibility, amongst other things. I'm sure there's a criteria that the law. So there's arguments regarding this number of parties rather than the registration of new ones to this Congress. I expected more of mergers rather than registration of multiple political party instead of pulling all your resources together, forming one super new party so that to be registered by INEC. And what are your thoughts regarding the argument that rather than
91 it's a big number really, and I'm wondering what 9 political parties that we have now cannot bring to the table. Because even in the 18 political parties we have now, see, there are some that are just there existing for the sake of existing. They've not been able to win any elected position. Some of them don't even have the national spread as you expect it. Their offices are always under lock and. But we've seen political parties, attempt to speak with them, attempt to read nobody or print anything.
It's virtual.
No
it's
presence.
Virtual. It's technology. It's virtual. You don't need to.
So it may be a bit difficult to really pick their brain and understand. Again, when it comes to the game of politics, there are a lot of things that might not be completely clear to the outsider like us. They also just be placeholders front for the currently existing political party to face. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
So I don't know how INEC is going to be able to deal with this request. But again, that's one fact that we need to accept. No law says that once you are able to meet the criteria, you're able to meet the requirements. So, but again, how would it look like if you have 91 new ones added to the 18? So we'll be running over 100 elections in the country. There were only 2 political parties.
Yeah.
SDP and I'm talking about the June 12 election.
Yeah, of course.
And it was only 2. And so what it meant was that for every politician that was interested in becoming anything, either look for the SDP or the NLC. And with that, we had a fantastic election. For me, 91 just goes to show that, look, there might be other intentions to this desire to have multiple political parties than it being about. For example, the coalition would have expected that more parties should be merging.
Yes.
In fact, we should have, my mind tells me it could even be the handiwork of the ruling party to further deal with some of these things. I think it's just for us to take it as a new way to.
People are talking about the audio being low on Facebook. If somebody from the tech department can please check that out, appreciate it. We apologize for that. Would ensure to work on the report regarding now suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. INEC has confirmed petitioners that the contact details of the petitioners' representatives in the recall process of Senator Representative Committee Sam Olumekun disclosed this in a statement. A petitioner's representative was submitted on Wednesday to the Commission's chairman. Pre-contact information such as their addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses as required under the process of recall.
They brought out those details.
Yeah, that it was very questionable. There were irregularities, and it was difficult to move on to the next addresses, their emails, amongst other things. And in less than 24 hours, they had received a letter containing the address to INEC. And of course, INEC says, well, they now meet the requirement. They've submitted call process because that is what the law says. You have to inform whoever is being recalled or the updates that have trailed this particular situation in less than 24 hours.
Again, they are just amused about some of the things they do. You just have to learn to laugh it off so that you don't just get unnecessary email addresses, house numbers, and the house senator representing, I think, Kogi Central. Have been produced requires that you are supposed to put these extra details, the phone numbers, house hours, that has also been produced, And then INEC has to move to the next phase again. That's the process. So INEC will now have to be put through the process of checking one by one stage.
Yeah.
We're watching the show of shame happening on this now. You are bullied to submission. We're in an era where look to deal with in this era. Again, the news of how this entire recall process started is there for everybody to see. It's not an empowerment program, only for them to get there and then discover. We've also seen pictures and videos of people in the room putting things, associates, the political associates of the former governor of this end. I was telling you yesterday, that Senator Natasha put political space. She must have made up her mind that it's not going to be a role as a senator from a very hostile political environment. If you know how tough Kogi politics is, do you understand what I'm saying? When it comes to political history in Kogi State, for her with her, youthfulness, how young she is to have emerged as a senator from Kogi Central, despite all she went through, remember that she was a woman.
Yeah.
That the road leading to her house was cut off on now, will make her stronger. And I'm sure she must have prepared her mind for days like this, for situations.
And it was an interview with the senator, the deputy chief whip, Senator Nwaboyi, yesterday evening, right? And I just want you to listen. And I have no questions. Just tell me your thoughts on
deputy chief whip, right?
Yes, on what he said.
Issue, but of unlucky to her, she didn't know that this young man was outside the country. Upon the slightest provocation, she will come up with allegation of sexual harassment. And I don't know what is wrong with this lady. Does she think that she's the most beautiful woman on earth? Or is it because she's had chocolate color? In my own assessment, she's not among the beautiful women in Nigeria. And it is high time we come hard on her and defend her future victims. Even her present husband, she married her out of something like this. She threatened to sue the man and have a letter circulating over the world that the man should pay her 10 billion or marry her. The man had to marry her under duress. So the marriage was under duress, another product of blackmail. And when this lady came into their family, destabilized their family, and took over her husband. All right. And without going into her character of good Lord, Jonathan has...
Fuad, that's the question.
I know how you feel. Listen to
I don't feel. I just well, if I say I don't feel anything, I'm a liar, really. So
I really don't know what to say because again we're on radio. Because the word that fits perfectly the description of what you just said to me. I didn't see the video yesterday, so I like the fact that you're able to bring that up again, so that people will really beat out the occasion with the highly respected Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. You know, that is against Senator Nwoke. A very young man too. You know, because when people call for young people to take elective position, oh, we need more young people, we need vibrancy, we need good thinking of the youngest senators we have now. And look at his thinking pattern. Change.
Yes.
Just analyze. Take away sentiment and emotion. Put it on critical analysis, logic, and common sense. Analyze what you this person. You see that we are in trouble. If this is the thinking pattern of a Nigerian senator, a young senator that you expect to, you know, to have some level. I'm not stating that I don't even want to repeat what he has said in that audio.
But he's not even talking about maligning.
No, that's what he does. He's so good at doing that.
Obviously, so yes. I don't really care about what he thinks, right? It's insignificant, it's inconsequential. But it's the fact that they're not even speaking to the details of what is going on. They're not speaking about how much progress have been made regarding investigation. Every time he opens his mouth, it is to malign. He
goes after the character of just malign the person's character.
Tell us how far you've gone with your investigation. You are the chief whip. You're supposed to maintain order. You're supposed to put things in perspective. Yeah. Decorum, that's your job. But you have not one time come out to give us any sensible any information we've heard. It's either via interviews with other members of Senate, not you. Every time you open your mouth is to malign one party in this particular issue. And
that Natasha goes after a marital record, goes after a personal life.
She blackmailed him, told him to either marry her or pay her 10 billion naira.
So it can happen that a woman will force you to marry her.
Or pay 10 billion.
Is it possible?
That's what he says. He seems to be quite close to the family because he's telling us.
I'm not thinking that.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
Lord, you see, when I talk about the quality of people leading us, see, I want somebody to come and argue this with me. That we don't have serious questions to ask ourselves about the quality thinking process, the thought processes of the people leading this country. If this is the thinking pattern, the thought processes of a senator in Nigeria, see,
It is well. Please, I'm sorry. I would like to take us back again to the.
This is pure misogyny. At the highest level.
I mean, it doesn't. That's good for him, really. That's his business. But I would like us to once again, forgive me, to reiterate the whole, and we should check our facts. So I'm trying to understand what facts here, because
what else does he want us to say?
Exactly, because when the petition was submitted, INEC put out a statement that it's incomplete. You're not giving us information. We cannot move to the next phase. No number, no address, no email. And then in 24 hours, I mean, it's been barely 24 hours. We viewed that story just yesterday. They produced it. And then this Olugbenga Michael Adisa says we're misleading the public, that INEC said that the petitioners did not provide their contact information and all the necessary information.
So, Paige, leave Adisa and his problem. Don't bother with them.
I just want to correct the notion so people don't become confused, because I believe that we've given all the necessary details and follow-ups regarding this whole recall process.
On this job, just know that you can't help the person that does not want to help him or herself with very simple issues. These are people who deliberately confuse themselves about simple issues. And if you want to bother yourself with them, you're going to be wasting time. It's a perception issue. No matter what you say, no matter what you analyze, no matter how you put it on critical thinking for them to get into the mood with you, they will not, because it is what they want to hear that their parts, they've put it so much in their head that they cannot just think straight. I don't bother with them. What other information does he want us to talk about now?
I don't know.
The story is there. The INEC information is there. All to see. So what is misleading about what we have said about that issue now? That people in just about 24 hours have been able to produce what INEC said they were not able to produce. And to have said that we are watching and seeing how INEC will now go ahead and verify these things. Since they've now written to Natasha that the recall process has now been activated. Okay, what more information does he want us to talk about? And now is that misleading? If he doesn't have a problem with himself.
Well, it is trends in the papers on Milan 98.3 FM. We're looking
don't bother with people like that.
Let's move on to another story. The Punch tells us new Nigerian constitution. The patriots, led by former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Chief Emeka Anyaoku, are to meet the leadership of the National Assembly in April. The scheduled meeting with both the Senate and the House of Representatives comes as a follow-up to in its call on President Bola Tinubu to convene a constituent assembly where Nigerians from different parts of the country negotiate a constitution that reflects their will and their existence. The eminent Nigerians insist that only having a People's Democratic Constitution at 20th Memorial Anniversary of the founding chairman, Chief F.R.A. Williams, at the F.R.A. Williams Chamber in Lagos. So, Fuad, as you know, even former President Olusegun Obasanjo has been saying something that we need to redefine our own democracy. He calls it Afro-democracy, democracy that highlights and also takes into cognizance our culture, our beliefs, our history as a people. And we've seen an extension of that call by reviewing the Constitution. We have eminent Nigerians who are saying that let us review the Constitution, let us amend sections of the Constitution, 1999 Constitution. They want an inclusion or a referendum of some kind, a clause whereby the people can demand a change of the Constitution at any time. So they want the Constitution to be adjusted such that more democratic provisions would be made available within the Constitution, and the people can call for changes like that one. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think basically who can, at different instances and times, call for a complete review of the Constitution, constitutional provision. I think that, look, it's not a bad call, really. You know, in different parts of the world, you have people that can just call for a referendum on a particular matter. It could be on resource control, it could be on any major national issue. They call themselves the patriots. It's a very robust list of eminent Nigerians. If you should check the story very well, the people, Emeka Anyaoku, yes, actually these are patriots. If you look at their pedigree and their record of service to the country and even in the global space. But again, these are suggestions that will continue to come. In fact, one of the suggestions that is the 1999 Constitution is the People's Constitution, the 1999 Constitution. That even though the first chapter of the Constitution says we the people never sat down somewhere or anywhere to agree to put that document together. It was foisted on us by a few Nigerians, put together by the military. And so you've had eminent Nigerians, top lawyers, leaders of thought, who have said that, look, make some meaningful progress when it comes to nation building. And I think that is what is being reinforced again by this call, for us to also put clauses and put things in our constitutional court, allow for referendum or plebiscite to determine how we want to cohabit, live together as a people. But again, they say they're going to be meeting with, I think they've met with the president before. They also want to meet with the...
I apologize to those on Facebook. Unfortunately, the complaint of the volume is still consistent. We apologize. We're currently working on it, so please bear with us. You can listen via the website www.mainlandfm.com or via Radio Guardian at Mainland 98.3 FM about the inconvenience, because a lot of you are talking about it. Thank you very much for raising the observation again. By the way, my name is Sage Babalola. I'm here with Fᴜʟʟ. We're reviewing the papers and we're currently on the front page of the Punch newspaper, where we're looking at political office holders. The Rivers State Sole Administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, has suspended political appointees and office holders in the state with immediate effect. In a statement on Wednesday, the Chief of Staff to the Administrator said the decision was made under the powers granted to Ibas by President Bola Tinubu. Those affected include the Secretary of the State Government, the Chief of Staff, all commissioners, chairpersons and members of board, agencies, commissions and parastatals, as well as all special advisors, special assistants and senior special assistants. And it takes effect from Wednesday, March 26, 2025. That's then secretary. They are to hand over to the most senior director or head of administration. The statement reads, Fouad, I do believe that the state of emergency primarily is to tackle security challenges. And as the Constitution provides, administrator tackles the security issue in the state. That is my layman understanding of what the administrator is supposed to do. So there's a lot of questions about the decision to do we have a right to ask for some sort of explanation as to what implication this suspension has in the fight against the insecurity that is originally an order in Rivers State, or what exactly is the primary purpose of this suspension? How does it help you? How does it help the people of Rivers? Is the questions that a lot of people have been asking since this announcement was made. Fouad.
Very valid, intelligent question. Okay. Again, in the minds of the people who are taking this decision, this is the best that can happen to Rivers State. Even though we understand that the situation of Rivers State didn't get to the point where there was the need to declare state of emergency. The state completely descended into anarchy, insecurity, to the point where the state assembly members, I've always told people, you can live in denial about it. You can be pretending to sleep. Nobody will even make any attempt to wake you up. Continue to deceive yourself. We knew the stories, how it all started. We know the trajectory, how it all started. But the aim is. So, it's like the former president, Jonathan, said, don't be bothered with people pretending to be sleepy. On the matter, they know they're deceiving themselves. It's all about political consideration. See? So that's why you see that, look, the issue of tackling insecurity has even been put as a sideline. Because at the end of the day, there's no insecurity to even have. Wait, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so you could see that there's a continuous, of all approach the Supreme Court on this particular matter. I've seen people who say, oh, why can't Fᴜʟʟ go to court? There's a precedent. When Jᴏɪᴜ was removed and he approached the court, Supreme Court ruled that was the sole administrator that had been appointed. So again, these things are there for us to begin to take note of. That's gone again into the books of history. The administrator has a job to do, and I'm sure he's been guided. He's been teleguided from somewhere on how to proceed on this job. Again, whether that would help the political intentions of those that have done this, wait to see. Whether it will not help, whether it's going to be counterproductive or it will help them, you have to wait to see. Help you. Do not continue to deceive yourself. You can continue to live in delusion about the matter. We will not help you. And the job here is not to help you. But we'll say what we need to say because we have a job to do. So let's just move on to other stuff.
Yeah, well, the PDP have taken legal action against the federal government, asking that they reinstate Fubara. Well, it's really now that the case has been taken to court. Now, states are opposing bill seeking immunity removal from VP governor's deputy. The state government have voiced strong opposition to a bill in the House of Representatives seeking to remove the constitutional immunity, shielding governors, deputy governors, and the vice president from prosecution while stripping it from top executive office holders. On Wednesday at plenary, the House presided over by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu passed the bill through a second reading, and the passage paved the way for its transmission to the House Committee on Constitutional Review for further legislation. President, for example, the deputy governors and the deputy governors and the vice president, although is still, of course, the president, we can understand why he has immunity, so he's not disturbed by legislative judicial actions while carrying out his responsibility, but stripped of the immunity provided to them or afforded to them by the law.
On the first instance, on the surface, when you look at this, you think this is an idea that would help with probity and accountability.
Yes.
If you understand what I'm saying, that this would help with some level of transparency, accountability. So at the subnational level, nobody can hold them to account until when they leave office. So, because again, I've seen people who have said that we need to reassess again this immunity clause has been granted to executives. If you understand what I'm saying.
I'm with you.
Because again, we cannot completely say that from 1999 till date, especially when the EFCC, for example, was established, and you are not in the good book of the president, we have had several allegations of the institution being used, for example, to frustrate governors and what have you. Just imagine that those governors don't have immunity at that time. What could have happened? You probably will see them being chased down, being taken to court and all of that. So, you see, because of the nature of our politicians, their character and their behavior, simple things that you think, can really work and help us when it comes to nation building, we have to, for political gains and benefits. It's just like this same declaration of emergency, section 305. It's so clear and explicit. But you see that we are still able to pick loopholes now to see a situation where the president is now suspending a governor in a democracy. And then people are already justifying it to say, the law is there, or the law does not even say that I cannot do it. So at the end of the day, it looks good on the surface to say, okay, let's take this immunity clause away, so that we can really hold people to account even while they are in office, than wait till when they do what they need to do and then we'll start to chase after them. But again, my fear is that, look, who says this thing cannot be subjected to abuse? For example, the simple question that they have asked the legislator is that, why are you taking away the immunity of the vice president, for example?
Right.
I remember during Babobasonjo's time, if this law had been in place, for example, if it was passed to law, Atiku would have been in serious trouble. When he was even chased out of his own political party. And who says that cannot have a repeat of situations like that?
Fuad, forgive me, but because of our time, I want you to take the story simultaneously, since it's the reps that are moving these bills. They're also moving to transfer oil, gas control to state. They want to take it away from exclusive powers, the control of oil.
That's resource control.
Yes.
It's a very bold step by the House of Reps. There are about 41 constitutional amendments that are still first reading now at the second reading.
Yeah.
And for a review of all those, you understand that there's still a long way
to go.
To ensure that these things scale through and become our law. You understand? But the fact that they are even thinking about it, this issue of oil and gas and things going back to the state, is basically about resource control. So I think it's important for people to go read up on, the amendments that the House of Reps have been pushing for, about 41. It's just very important for us to know that this process of amending the Constitution to allow this thing become law takes a longer process and procedure than just getting to the second reading and taking all is well. There are still other stages that this still have to go through. To give Lagos 57 local government
areas. Fuad, there's this report in the Vanguard that really, struck out, right? The Vanguard is reporting that they can authoritatively say that they have uncovered some plot in a yes man that would truncate the election and give victory to a political party. What do you think about this allegation? Rather hefty.
Well, it's a report by the two areas of serious, classified information, if I may use the word. They've also questioned people. They have intelligence. They have sources, and which they have the right not to name.
A minute, okay? Just give me some time. Let's take that break so that you have enough time to complete your thoughts when we come back. Please, I apologize. We have to take a commercial break. We'll be back. It's Milan